Welcome to today's presentation, Digital Marketing 101 with Alacrity Academy. We would like to respectfully acknowledge the Lekwungen and Wasanic people on whose lands we live, play, and work. Our acknowledgement is heartfelt. We lift up our hands in respect to the Lekwungen and Wasanic people, the Songhees, Esquimalt, Sartlip, Sawoot, Paquachin, Sakem, and Malahat, whose relationship with the land is sacred and continues. We dedicate ourselves to learning about the local Indigenous people and culture, to share what we learn, and to listen to and respect Indigenous voices. Haichka. All right, so also for today's presentation, we ask that you remain muted and video off so that we can enjoy a high quality viewing experience. And if anyone has any questions for our guest, you can type them in the chat along the side, and I will pose them on your behalf after the presentation. So Alacrity Academy is a local partner company to Alacrity Canada, whose aim is to grow skilled tech workers to fill gaps in the tech sector, especially to do with digital marketing. And to present to us today about digital marketing, about their upcoming training programs and employment opportunities, I'm pleased to welcome Mike Williams, Program Director for Alacrity Academy. Welcome, Mike. There.
Hi.
Hello.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
Thank you for being with us. All right. I think you have the share screen option.
Yep.
Perfect.
All right. All right. So if everyone's good to go, we can get started.
It looks
here.
great.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, thanks for having me today. Excited to talk about Digital Marketing 101. So we do teach a digital marketing boot camp. The course takes about 8 to 10 weeks, sometimes longer for students if they're busy. And what I'm going to try to do today is try to condense that into about an hour's or 45 minutes worth. But what I'll do is I'll talk about all the different types of digital marketing, the disciplines of digital marketing, and I'll try to highlight some really key points so you have some actionable takeaways from this. And please ask questions. Sometimes I'll gloss over things or move too quickly, or I'll assume that people know things. So please ask questions, and there are no silly wrong questions. Just ask away. I'd love to answer them, and I love talking to people that are maybe new to the topic because they have such creative and interesting questions. So here's a little bit about what we're going to discuss today, a little bit about Alacrity Academy, a little bit about myself, and then I'll move into talking about the funnel, the marketing funnel, and then how that applies to all the different traffic types in digital marketing direct. That's when someone actually goes directly to your website, puts in your URL and goes right there. Search, how they search and find your website with organic and paid ads, as well as social, how organic and paid advertising works in a social context. Content marketing, how content marketing powers a lot of the things that we do in digital marketing. And then I'll just touch on display marketing. I think it's important to know about it, but it is kind of an advanced technique, so I won't go too far into that. And then email marketing, which a lot of people are surprised at how valuable and effective email marketing is in 2023. We think of it as an older form of transacting online, but it's really, really effective. So let's dig in. A little about the Academy. We actually started in September of 2019. We were teaching the Digital Marketing Bootcamp in person, which was super fun, really great to engage with the students in person. We are now incubating the Alacrity Academy program inside the Alacrity Foundation. The Alacrity Foundation helps startups and businesses commercialize and grow their businesses in a number of different ways. We have several programs, which I won't go into, but you can always check us out at alacritycanada.com. With the Alacrity Academy program, we have taught over 7,000 students in digital marketing with a real focus on BC in our partnership with the BC government. And we're really just developing digital marketers. We're helping people understand digital marketing, what it is, and how they can create scale and grow their business as well as grow their career through digital marketing. Quickly about myself, I've been doing digital marketing since 2003. It's been a long time. It's a rapidly changing industry, and even more so in recent times, it seems to pick up and change even faster. And we expect that to continue to happen as digital marketing grows and evolves. I've been lucky enough to be a co-founder of several companies, mostly marketing companies. Great experience working in startups, working with businesses and helping them grow and scale. I'm the program manager at Alacrity Academy, as well as the CEO and co-founder of a local agency called Jetstream that helps manage paid ads for clients. But enough about me, let's talk about the content. And really there's a couple other things when we start the course, we talk about like personas and branding and storytelling. But for the purposes of this webinar, I really want to talk a little bit about the marketing funnel and how people move through the funnel when they're online, hanging out, or searching for products, or looking at ads, opening emails, those sorts of things. So you may have seen this before. It's a good acronym to use, is just AIDA: awareness, interest, decision. Sometimes it's interchangeably used with desire, and then action. And so at the awareness stage, someone will become aware of a product, a problem, a brand, a solution, these sorts of things. And then they take an interest in that brand or product or solution, and they'll do research, they'll look for things, they'll just take a general interest in the brand. Maybe they follow them on Twitter, maybe they search more on their product, check out their website. And then at some point they make that decision that they're going to take action. And then they take that action, whether that's downloading an app, purchasing the product, going into the store and buying the product or service. So this marketing funnel isn't something that really changes. Everyone goes through it. Sometimes we go through it very quickly, like we go from awareness to taking action very quickly, but there's a very short period where you're working through interest and decision to actually take that action. And so as I talk about the different traffic types today, think about where they might fit as like awareness, interest, decision, action. And so certain things, like certainly search marketing, is more of a lower funnel activity where someone is searching for a product or service with the intention to purchase it, versus if someone is on Facebook or TikTok and becomes aware of a product that they didn't know existed that solves some sort of problem that they're having. So I just want to set that context, and then digging into the traffic types. Like I said, we're going to talk about direct, search, social, display, content. I've kind of already touched on that. So let's dig in on direct. So direct traffic is any time that someone goes directly to your website. So they'll put in the specific URL, like, alacrityacademy.com. They'll go directly to that page. They likely learned about that site from some other source, whether it's a trade show, word of mouth, maybe it was at some event, or they saw a billboard, they saw an ad in the newspaper. There's some sort of initiating point where they found out about the product or service that doesn't happen in the online world. And so when we look at our Google Analytics, this is a screenshot of Google Analytics, you'll just see it come in as direct. Someone went directly to the website. And it's certainly a good strategy to utilize to drive direct traffic, but you need to find some offline mechanisms to drive that. And just a note on Google Analytics, highly recommend that if you have a website, that you get familiar with Google Analytics. If you're curious about Google Analytics, there are various free courses out there that you can learn more about Google Analytics and get accredited as a Google Analytics user. So it's worthwhile checking out. Like I said, with direct traffic, the direct visits to your website, they found out about you somewhere else. And online advertising or online marketing doesn't happen in a silo. There's other things outside of the online world that derive this. And as marketers, you learn, or you already know, that word of mouth marketing is really strong. And it's one of the best ways to promote your business. So think about how online advertising can help you grow online. And I always think about, if you're familiar with the Vessi shoes, they're waterproof shoes. My neighbor told me about them and told me how great they were. I immediately went on my phone and purchased the product without doing really any research or looking into it. I just took his word for it and I went and purchased that. So how can you utilize word of mouth marketing in a digital world? The tricky part about direct is that it's untracked. We're not really sure. Was it that radio ad? Was it a billboard? Was it a friend that told them about it? How did they find out about us and go directly to our site? So it makes it a little bit tricky. The next thing I want to talk about is search marketing. And you'll notice this screen capture that I have here. If you take a look at it, the first 4 results here on the left are actually all ads. So those are not organic. Those are that's people advertising, businesses advertising on that keyword. The only actual organic or free, in quotations, result is this one down here. These are also ads as well. So you can just realize that the top part of a search engine result is dominated by the ads. And on a mobile, it's even worse because we're dealing with a much smaller screen size. And so that organic result is actually in position 5, and stacked above it are all of these ads dominating the real estate. So diving further into paid search marketing, the thing I like about search marketing is that the keywords have intent. So someone is looking to buy car insurance or purchase red shoes. They're putting those keywords in and they have the intent that they're looking to purchase or maybe research, but they have intent behind it, versus when you're on other sites, there's no real intent. They're just kind of hanging out. So with paid advertising, we're talking about paid and organic. You have paid advertising, you're paying per click. So you have to pay so much, you have to have a budget to actually spend money on those clicks. With organic, the reason that the free is in quotations is that it requires work. It requires your time, someone to actually create that content and optimize your site. There is still work involved. You're just not paying directly for the click. But search marketing is a bottom of funnel activity where someone is researching further to find more information as they move through the funnel. It's less of an awareness type play. And the platform that really matters there is Google. You can, like, there's other search engines. Google has like 90-95% of the market share. If you optimize for Google, you'll get results on the other search engines as well. So I wouldn't necessarily optimize specifically for Bing. Diving more into the paid ads, again, there's this screen capture, right, where we see all of this real estate here, 4 placements dominated by ads over on the right-hand side, and then the organic result here. So ads really dominate this, and Google makes 95% of their revenue, I think it is, off of paid advertising. So they are, highly incentivized to use up a lot of that real estate for paid ads. There's some things to learn about search marketing, the things that really are important. Relevance matters. And so what I mean by that is the keyword that you advertise on needs to match the site and the content that you're promoting. So when someone puts in car insurance, you need that keyword to show up in the ad, and then you need that keyword to also show up on the landing page. And it's important if someone puts in car insurance, they see car insurance and then car insurance on the page, rather than see car insurance in the search and then see auto insurance and auto insurance on the landing page. Like, the semantics do matter, and people know that they're in the right place. And if you follow that thinking for your campaign, you have a better chance of the campaign working for you. So relevance is extremely important. And you want to make sure that the user has a good experience. So they search for what they want and they find what they want, even though it is an ad, and Google will reward you for that relevance. It's really important to find keywords with traffic and that intent. So there are keywords out there that will have a high volume of searches, but they don't have a lot of intent behind them. Like, if you search for red shoes in Google, there's a couple like movies that come up. So were they looking for a movie, or are they looking for something else? Versus if they search for red basketball shoes in Victoria, BC, that's a very specific search. There's a lot of intent behind it. It'll be lower in volume, but it's more likely to convert. So you need to find keywords that have a relatively decent amount of volume, like they're searched often per day or per month, and that they carry intent behind them, that they are looking to purchase or take some sort of action. And keywords are extremely important, obviously, when succeeding with paid advertising for search marketing. I mentioned conversion rate optimization here. That's a bit more of an advanced technique, but the take home there is just that you need to be prepared to test creatives, test landing page, test your campaign in order to be successful. You essentially have to make the advertising work, and often an advertising campaign won't work right away. You need to work at it. You see a little note there. This is rented traffic. So the moment you stop paying for clicks, you'll stop receiving traffic. And versus when you build up an organic presence, it doesn't just go away overnight. As soon as you turn, like if you turn things off, you can't really turn things off with organic, but with paid, if you turn off that ad spend, you stop getting traffic. So there's not sort of that long-term build of a foundational marketing that's created, if that makes sense. Switching to organic search, this is the same screenshot, just a little bit lower, showing some of the other organic placements that show up. So again, you're only seeing 2 placements there. And then you also have the Google's People Always Ask. So anytime you're optimizing a site for organic search, you're struggling to find real estate and where your page fits in. And if you're not in the top 10 results or not on the first page, you may as well be on the last page. So really, really important that you optimize to actually get to the home page, which can be difficult. And the keys to being successful with organic or SEO, search engine optimization, this is a little bit daunting, but is to provide the best answer on the internet. So you want to compare your content to other content that is ranking and write a better answer than they wrote. May mean creating a more concise and specific answer, or creating a longer post, or just generally answering the question better than anyone else. And with search, you need to keep in mind that whenever someone puts in a keyword, what they're actually doing is asking a question. So when they're asking a question or putting in that query, you want to answer that in the best possible way. Another very important piece to this, there's a lot to SEO, but I want to highlight the key points, is increasing your domain or page authority. So if you have a site, it will have a score out of 100, which determines the authority of your site. So like a site like Nike.com or Google.com will be in the 90s or 99s. Most local businesses are somewhere between like 7 to 15, maybe 20, depending on how many links they have. And you need those links from other websites to be of high quality, meaning that they also have a high domain or page authority. So generally speaking, if there is a search for a given keyword and there's 2 sites trying to compete for the position on the search engine results page, the one that has the higher domain authority will typically appear above the one with the lower page authority. And that's a big factor in driving search engine results. So that's where backlinks or links from other sites are very important. And you can look at them as votes. So the more votes you have, the higher your position, or the higher your page authority, and the higher you'll rank. But it's not just based on quantity, it's also based on the quality of those links that link to you. The other part of SEO, and there's a lot of factors to it, I'm just trying to pull out the highlights, but is to actually do on-page SEO, which is the things you do to optimize your site. It could be, changing alt tags, content, headings, meta descriptions, page titles, those sorts of things that will help you improve the performance of your page. But 2 things to really highlight that are extremely important, really in all areas of digital marketing, but certainly in SEO, is that your page is mobile friendly. It's easy to use and view on mobile, and that the page speed is high. There are a couple tools you can use. You can just look up Google's mobile friendly test, and you can put your URL in there and it will tell you. And you can go to Google Page Speed, and it will actually, once you put your URL in there, tell you what your page speed is and then what you may need to work on. So those are 2 really important factors as far as on page goes. And the thing to note with organic is that it takes a lot longer. You got to put in the time and effort, and over time it will start to rank. It might take 6 months, 9 months. It might take 12. One thing is to consider too is that you just may not be able to rank for certain keywords. So when you're looking at the volume and the competitiveness of a keyword, you may want to decide that it's not worth my time to try and rank for these terms. This is domain authority. You can just Google Moz domain authority. You can throw your URL in there and it will tell you your domain authority. So I just put in Tesla, tesla.com. Their domain authority is an 86 out of 100, 79,000 domains linking to them. They're ranking for 108 keywords. The spam score just tells you how many like spammy or low quality links are linking to them, which will start to bring down your domain authority. So you can check that tool out. moz.com/domain-analysis should get you there, or a quick Google search. Switching gears to social media, we're going to talk about paid and organic. Very different mode that people are in when they're on social media. They're there with a different purpose. They're hanging out. Think about them as being, someone who's gone to the mall just to like hang out with their friends, and they're kind of walking around. Maybe they're checking out stores. They don't really have intention. Versus with search, it's like, I'm going to go in and buy a pair of jeans, get my stuff and get out. So just a very different marketing mode that users are in when they're using social media. The nice thing about it is that, especially with ads, you can target demographics, audiences, personas very effectively on social media. And there are multiple platforms that seems to be expanding all the time. So this is just a quick snapshot of some of them. Obviously, Facebook is very strong, tends to lean a little bit more to an older demographic. Instagram, great platform, very visual in nature, both images and video. Owned by Facebook as well. So when you're advertising on potentially both the platforms. LinkedIn is geared to more B2B. Can be a difficult platform to advertise and market on effectively. Cost per clicks are extremely high, and people just act a little bit differently on LinkedIn. Snapchat, younger audience, has really picked up. Like 10 years ago, it was really scaling up. Maybe it was less than that. But recently, it's kind of scaled down a little bit as a lot of users have shifted to TikTok. Pinterest, not one that I know too much about, but obviously another visual platform in nature, can be very effective from an advertising standpoint. Twitter is in an odd spot. I've never been a fan of the platform, but there's some odd things going on there as Elon has taken over the company, but still a very effective channel where there's a lot of users hanging out. And then YouTube is an interesting one because it's not really social. It's kind of a search engine. It's kind of social, but I put it here. And one thing to keep in mind with YouTube, it is a search, like it's now the #2 search engine. There's a lot of people searching for different content on YouTube. Great opportunity for both ads and organic traffic there to create an audience and have some longer form content there as well. Versus TikTok, which is the one that is changing everything, in my opinion. They're really changing how people consume content online. So TikTok is, a huge platform that continues to grow, but people are sampling these really, really short, under a minute, under 30 seconds content that is really quick and trending. And that's starting to leak over into other platforms like Instagram and Facebook. Certainly YouTube with their YouTube Shorts platform, which is a clone of TikTok. But really great opportunity for marketers to, create a following, create an audience, even, become an influencer, go viral. It's a really interesting and unique platform that is changing how a lot of people, especially a younger audience, is consuming content online. So worth checking out. I was actually at a conference yesterday in Vancouver with TikTok, talking about their advertising platform and how things work. And it was really interesting. It's just so different than most of the other social channels. All right. So how to succeed with social media organic. The #1 takeaway with social media is just be social. So many businesses and so many people that are on social media with trying to deliver their message and get their message out to a wide audience. You really want to be there to create community, create engagement, create interesting, educating, entertaining content that is fun, but also participate in the community. Don't just post and ghost. Go on there, create really valuable content, but also go to other users and comment and get engaged with their content as well. And if someone comments on your stuff, be a part of the conversation as well. Note there, it's not easy, when you get to it, especially when you're starting out, it takes a bit of time to kind of get some traction. But if you stick it out and you're persistent and consistent, you can build a really great audience over time. And if you create a strong following and create a strong audience, you can essentially sell them anything, whether it's an app or a t-shirt or some new product. So there's a great opportunity there if you can stick it out, be truly social, and spend the time to create what users want versus what message you want to deliver to them. On the paid side of things, your goal is to stop the scroll. So, people are there and they're looking at photos of their friends or pictures of their nephew or niece or someone's baseball game or whatever it might be. Maybe they're following a page. They're there to browse and hang out and check things out. They're not there for the ads. And so it's your job as the advertiser to stop the scroll and gain their attention and bring them over to your product or service. And so Facebook or most social platforms where you're advertising is a great place for people to discover new products. At the TikTok conference yesterday, they talked a lot about the hashtag TikTok made me buy it. So TikTok is this platform where people see new products and they purchase those products because they saw them on TikTok. They had no idea they existed. So they're doing a great job of providing awareness where someone would have never known to search for that product because they didn't know it existed. Another thing that works well with social media advertising is user-generated content. So that's the content that looks very real and authentic, like like your friend just recorded a message and they're putting it out there, but it's actually an ad. And if you're on TikTok, as an example, anything that looks like an ad is easily scrolled past. But it's when someone has taken the time to create something that is authentic and organic and educational and fun, that people will engage with the ad and actually enjoy it. And it's a nice trade-off between, I created this great content to educate you, I'm also selling this product, and people will accept that type of advertising. And I just put a note here that I still think that Meta ads, buying on both Facebook and Instagram, is the best platform. TikTok, there's a lot of challenges around actually being successful with those paid ads. There certainly are companies doing it, but they're still kind of finding their way as an ad platform. Meta ads, even though there's been lots of changes recently, is still, in my opinion, one of the best platforms, and you still can target quite effectively to find the right user on that platform. So I'm moving pretty quickly. Hopefully everyone's keeping up, but I'm looking forward to answering any questions that you have as well. Content marketing. So content marketing is a lot of things. You can see, blogs, video, podcasts, case studies, white papers, infographics, ebooks, press releases. It's a lot. It's the creation of any type of content for the internet, and a ton of content is being created all the time. But the way to look at content marketing is it's what powers marketing online. It's what powers social media. It's what powers your YouTube channel. It's what powers your blog. It's what people read on your website. So it's any type of content that is being created, either written, audio, video, and just provided on the internet. So it's still a great opportunity to utilize content marketing for your business to create exposure. It does take a fair bit of work to do it, but things like ChatGPT, I won't go too far into the AI world, but it is making it a little bit easier to create content online. So content marketing, ever changing, growing all the time. It's a lot more than just written content. And coming back to sort of that TikTokification of video, videos are shorter, they're entertaining, but a lot of people are consuming content on video because you can get it on your laptop, you can get it on your phone, you can get it on sometimes on your watch, on your iPad, wherever you can consume a ton of video content. And it's a good idea to use video because you've got the video, you've got audio, you can turn it into transcribed content that you can use in other places on your website as well. Succeeding with content, again, we're back to this, write the best answers on the internet, or at least try to do that. You've got to create good, strong, valuable, interesting content that meets the needs of a customer. Giving away value, is really, really great. Think in terms of what the user wants and what we want to give them, not what we want to tell them about, or that is like you-centric. You want to think about the user and keep them in mind. And then you got to be consistent and persistent, much like social media. You got to be prepared to create content often and on a regular basis. And when you're creating that content, it's important that you write for the audience, not for the bots or the algorithm. You shouldn't be thinking too much about, will this rank on Google, or is this going to be suitable for the Instagram algorithm? Create great content that people will like, and the algorithm will do the rest. So don't get too caught up in that. People often ask about length. How long should a video be? How long should a podcast be? How many words should an article be? I don't have the answer for that. You want to use the appropriate length for the content you're trying to explain. So if it's a complex, thing, you may want to create longer content. Maybe you want to slice that up so it's a little bit more digestible. But content comes in a number of different forms. If you write a blog post that is 1,000 words, that might be amazing. You might also be able to write a blog post that is 30 words, and that's amazing as well. So you need to figure out what that appropriate length is for the medium as well as the content that you're producing, which is kind of a non-answer, but it is certainly something to consider when you're creating that content. Use your social media platforms to distribute your content, and don't be afraid to reshare the same post a couple times on certain platforms as well. So it's a good idea. Like I said, content powers your social media. It's a really good idea to use this for the other tactics you're going to use in digital marketing. And content helps you rank in search engines. The more content you create, the more quality organic content you have, the more likely you are to rank for keywords in search engines. And the note, consistency over time wins. The people that continue to produce content and continue to evolve and adjust for their audience are the ones that over time build these great followings. And you have to get through some of the tough time where you don't have the following that you want, or you're not seeing engagement that you want. You got to keep it up and keep going and keep evolving and try to find a winning way of growing your audience. This is a note that I found, or a quote that I found online. Content marketing is like a first date. If you only talk about yourself, there won't be a second one. You can use that for social media as well. You've got to write for the user. You've got to create content that is engaging and interesting for them. If you just talk about yourself and you just deliver your own messages, it's not going to take you very far. So keep that in mind. I'll touch on display advertising. I won't go too far into it, but when someone says display advertising, what they mean is just banners. Banners on the internet, banners on a website, banners on an app. That's really all that means. There are a number of display networks and places that you can advertise. And these users are just browsing. Think of them more like a social media platform. They don't have that intent that something like a search marketing would have. And there's an opportunity to remarket. We've probably all experienced marketing that seems to follow us around. I went and looked at these red shoes, and now I keep seeing an ad for it. How are they doing that? Likely it's remarketing. If you've signed up for a newsletter, they can remarket to you. If you visited their website, if you use their app, they can remarket to you and follow you around the internet, trying to get you to purchase. These are some networks that have display advertising. If you wanted to test this out, I would suggest using Google's display network inside the Google Ads platform as a place to start. But there are a number of places, StackAdapt is I believe they're a Canadian company. They have a number of sites and apps where you can advertise. Meta has their own display network. AdRoll is really great for retargeting, but you can access through their network and advertise as well. This is just a very different game, and it does require a fairly significant budget to make this work. In order to succeed with display advertising, creative is extremely important. Creating the right creative, the right copy is important. And audience targeting the right audience, showing them the right ad at the right time and grabbing their attention and bringing them to your business. And think about where you're advertising. Is it on websites? Is it in apps? Sometimes that app traffic isn't always great because someone's using some game and they're pushing a button and they accidentally hit your ad, and that counts as a click or an impression that maybe isn't of the best quality. And I already said it, but you do have to have a decent amount of money in order to make it work, because you spend to learn what works, and then you can bring your ad spend down a little bit. We've all seen banners online, but this is what it looks like. These are just a couple sample banners that I found. They come in a number of different shapes and sizes. And in some cases, you can advertise with video ads through a display platform as well. All right, moving pretty quickly here. So hopefully I can clarify anything that I glossed over. But email marketing, like I said earlier, email marketing is still extremely effective. It is a huge revenue driver for a lot of businesses. It is not dead. It's a great opportunity for a lot of businesses, but even for, if you're thinking about your career, there are great email marketing positions out there to become an email marketer. The opportunity with this is that your businesses or marketers, like, they own that social feed, or they can email their users directly. If you were to post on Facebook, maybe not everyone gets that message. With email, you have a better chance that they're going to see that and open it. You can nurture, you can stay active with potential customers and stay top of mind. You can also, if you have a strong email marketing list, you can upload that to ad platforms and build remarketing audiences and follow them around, or you can build similar audiences to that list and target those users as well. Succeeding with email marketing, the thing to keep in mind is that subject lines are extremely important, because if they don't see the subject line and it's not intriguing and interesting, they won't open it. If they don't open it, they won't click. If they don't click, they won't buy. So you need to create strong subject lines, and then you need to have strong content and calls to action to drive clicks, and then get them to the page or the place where you want them to purchase or take the action that they want. Again, it's really important that you create really great content inside your email marketing campaigns. And if you can, segment your list to customize the content to different audiences. And I always suggest using an email service provider like a MailChimp or Constant Contact. There are a number of those out there, which I'll mention, I think, on the next slide. But don't just send from your Gmail or your Outlook. Use an email service provider. There are some free services out there as well. And follow the regulations: CAN-SPAM, CASL in Canada, GDPR, managing data, making sure you're up on the legal and regulations that are required anytime you're sending email. And if your users want to subscribe, unsubscribe. It's okay to have people removed from your list if you don't want them. If they don't want your email, you don't really want them receiving it anyway. So it's okay to let them unsubscribe and make it easy. These are some of the platforms. I mentioned Constant Contact and MailChimp. Klaviyo is great for e-commerce. Sendinblue and Drip I haven't used before. There are a couple others out there, MailerLite, Mailgun, that may have some great free options if you wanted to try some of those platforms out. But email marketing, still effective in 2023. There is an opportunity and a movement to do more SMS or texting, but it's a different type of marketing than email, but it is communicating directly with customers. All right, so I went over a lot there. I'm looking forward to the questions. But also, what we do in the boot camp is we take people through a lot of this content, obviously a lot more in depth, but the goal is to show you all of the disciplines of digital marketing, how to utilize them, how to be successful with them, but then to step back and think about what's the strategy that I want to use for this client or for this business or, for this product or service. You need to think about, what's my objective? Am I looking for more followers? Am I looking for more sales? Am I looking for more exposure? And then you utilize different disciplines like email marketing or display advertising and paid advertising, YouTube, whatever it may be, in order to reach your target persona and find them online, and then sell them on your product or service, hopefully in an effective way. And every business or every marketer needs to think about what resources, what time, money, and people do you have to implement a digital marketing strategy effectively. A little bit about the Digital Marketing Bootcamp. Like I said, digital marketing is rapidly changing. That continues to trend and speed up. It's getting more and more difficult to keep up to date. It can be difficult to learn when you don't know what to search for or where to start. So our Digital Marketing Bootcamp is focused on the foundations of digital marketing. If you complete the bootcamp, you will get a digital marketing certification. And you can sign up for the Digital Marketing Bootcamp. I have a link in the next slide there. Earn your certificate in digital marketing. There's 40+ hours of course content. We also have a community where we're allowing the students to hang out, ask questions, join us in live streams and webinars. You'll learn a lot of the same content that I presented here: social media, paid advertising, SEO, email, and more. As well as you can learn at your own pace. So you can, if you're up at 3 in the morning, you want to learn then, or you're up at, lunch and you've got time to consume some content, you can check it out. Here's what one of our graduates said about the program. Alacrity Academy gave me the fundamental knowledge to grow both my physical and online business through marketing practice that I just didn't learn in any of the educational programs I've completed. That's Jake Harkoff of AIM Athletic, one of the students that graduated. And one of the things that students, I think, that take the boot camp realize is that there's a lot more to digital marketing than just Facebook or Instagram or whatever platform they're on. We're going to teach you about search and organic marketing, content marketing, email marketing, some of these things that maybe aren't as obvious and are great career options as well. So if you're interested and you want to learn more about the Digital Marketing Bootcamp, you can go to alacrityacademy.com/workbc. And for now, we have a promo code, just WorkBC, that'll actually get you 75% off the bootcamp, and you can get it for $9.99. And if you need to email us, I can provide that as well, or contact us. But you can check us out at alacrityacademy.com/workbc. And happy to take any questions, and thanks to everyone that tuned in today.
Thank you so much, Mike, for that. There's that great overview of digital marketing and what participants, whoever would be interested in your training program, will have the opportunity to see. There's so much.
Yeah, there's quite a lot in there.
It really is quite a depth and breadth. Like I'm just thinking of, really not truly understanding what digital marketing is all about, but going through your presentation is starting to see the complexity of it.
Yeah, and hopefully I didn't go too deep. I want to, show people what's out there, but like I said, I'm happy to ask any questions to clarify anything, or I can go back in the slides too.
Definitely. No, I have a first question here, and so I'll be bringing them up. And if anyone would like to write in the public chat as I'm asking, I'm keeping an eye on it. So I will definitely be putting these questions forward to you, Mike, and hopefully you'll be able to answer them.
I'll do my best.
Excellent. All right. So we have our first question is, do you offer placements after the boot camp? Is that a potential?
That is a potential. We don't currently have that, but we are looking into that. That's something that I really want to build out. Is I want people to come in and learn the foundations and learn the basics. And we're looking at some partnerships around helping them to create their portfolio, to potentially do like a co-op placement or do a project placement where they can do some work and then build up their resume and their portfolio and then find a job as well. So we want to create a job board, and we want to create connections to companies that are looking to hire digital marketers. So it is definitely something that's on our roadmap. We don't have it currently, but I think it's something we can build out fairly quickly.
Okay, excellent. Thank you for that. I have one next question to follow up, but this might be more for WorkBC. It's just around funding, and if someone is interested in the program, would they be able to get funding from WorkBC? And I would say you would probably want to check in with definitely check in with your case manager and see if there's something that can be spoken about. Mike, is there any awareness that you have in that regard?
Well, we've been talking with Michael about that and the potential opportunity for that. I don't know the details about that, but maybe Michael can speak to that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I can jump in quickly. So we have looked at the boot camp. It does result in a certificate. It does fall under the tuition requirement funding limits, and Alacrity Academy is an approved trainer. So yes, this could be approved training.
okay, thank you. Let's see, what else do we have? I've got more questions coming in. This is excellent. Would you be able to describe what the boot camp is like on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And, like I said, it is something where people can, kind of pop in and pop out as they need, right? So if you do need to take it, later in the evening or early in the morning, you can do that. The way that it's structured, there are about 8 units. And so they work through, storytelling and branding and websites before they start to really dig into the some of the disciplines I talked about. But on a day-to-day basis, it would look like a fair amount of video content, so consuming video content, some written, and then we have live streams and webinars happening, so they can join those or watch them recorded. So it is fairly video heavy, so you should be prepared for that. There is some written content that they can consume or download the slides to digest. And after each unit, there is a quiz that they need to take in order to advance to the next unit. So a day-to-day really depends on how much they want to dive in or not, but there's a lot of video content. There is live interaction. Every Tuesday, I think it's at noon or 11, we have open office hours where you can just come in and ask direct questions to our digital marketing advisory team. As well as we have a lot of guest webinars where we'll bring in like a specialist. We brought in a specialist on AI, or we'll bring in people on TikTok or e-commerce, and they'll talk about those topics. But again, it's video heavy, but you can decide whether you want to be there live or watch it later. Hopefully that gives you a picture. It's built on Thinkific, which is a learning management system where you would just start out and you see the video, watch about 8 minutes of video. You might take a quiz and then you move to the next and you watch content. So it is broken up into sort of 6 to 8 minute slices. But if you wanted to watch 3 hours, you could do that. It's up to you.
Got it. And that's where the self-paced piece would really come in. There's structure there, but within that structure, it's your decision about how you would like to access it. Yeah,
and then in each section where you're watching the video, if it's not making sense to you, you can just immediately ask a question on the right on there and say, hey, I didn't understand this. Can you explain that? And our digital marketing advisory team will add a comment there, and then it will be there for the next person that has that same question too. So we want to make sure that we're unpacking this stuff so that people can really understand what it means and how it works.
That's so excellent. And that really does tie in with one of the questions that we have here is how much instructor support is offered. And so there's the chat option and the office hours. Is there any other support that might be given?
Yeah, so there's, like you said, the once a week, there's the office hours, there's the discussion that happens right next to the video. They can also email the digital marketing advisory team at any time. We'll try to respond within 24 hours. And what we've created now is also a community which they would gain access to, where they can actually post questions in the discussion board, or there is a live chat feature, but you'd be asking it to the whole school. So every student would see that question, which is great because then they all get the same answer. But there are opportunities there to access that. And we, like I said, we usually try to respond within about 24 hours. And we have had several students go through it. So a lot of those questions have been asked before, but every so often you run up against a very specific odd question and we just try to answer it within 24 hours, however they choose to reach out.
Excellent. Okay. What was your career journey like in this whole process with Alacrity?
That's a good question. Yeah, I mean, I started out in digital marketing in 2003. I haven't spent a lot of time at companies. I've moved from company to company. I've been a part of startups, so I would describe it as non-traditional. Some successful startups, some not so much. But if you find me on LinkedIn, you can see a lot of my work history there. I would say that what has been successful for me is joining the tech community in Victoria specifically, but also in BC, and finding those networks and finding people has created a lot of opportunity for the jobs and things that I've been a part of. Joining Alacrity Academy was kind of just a natural progression where someone said, hey, we have this digital marketing boot camp. You have all this experience. Do you want to teach it? And I was like, that sounds kind of fun. And I've really enjoyed it. It's really fun to teach. But I would just say anyone that's looking to break into this, find some companies that you are interested in or that you've heard about. Try to connect with some of them on LinkedIn. Most people are pretty welcoming. And try to grab coffee or lunch or get them to introduce you to people and start to create your own network. Because whenever I need a job opportunity or looking for potential clients, I tap my network, and it's the strength of the network that is really effective, I think.
And that really, I feel like that's really present here in Victoria, is the importance of connection with who you know.
Yeah. Two places if you're in Victoria, if you can, Quench is it's a workspace. It is kind of private. You do have to pay to be there, but there's a lot happening at Quench. Or head to Viatech, check out their events board, join the YYJ Tech Slack group. You can post in there. There's jobs posted in there. A lot of them are developer jobs, but every so often a marketing position or other jobs come up there too.
Okay. Where is your physical location? Can you let us know that?
I'm in Langford, in Victoria, but our offices for Alacrity are downtown at 838 Fort, and we're moving to just a couple blocks up at the end of the month.
Okay.
But we're based in Victoria. Alacrity itself, there are several Alacrity, I guess you call them like headquarters all over we have Alacrity Mexico, Alacrity France, Alacrity Canada. They're all over.
As
accelerators are.
But downtown and moving at the end of the month.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just up the
Maybe
street.
an open house coming up?
What's that?
Maybe an open house?
Yeah, maybe. We work fairly well with Viatech. They do really, really well with the event, so we try to tag onto their events. We're not as good with the events, but we're trying to do more of that when we can.
That would be excellent.
Yeah.
We do have a question about when the next boot camp will be starting.
Yeah, I should have mentioned it's a rolling intake. So, if you sign up today, it starts today. If you sign up in 6 months, it starts in 6 months. And you take it as you see fit. And, the course will take 8 to 10 weeks if you really followed it through, sort of at the plan that we would like. But we do give you access for 6 months to a year, depending on, what that looks like. But it's a rolling intake, and you can sign up whenever. It's not a cohort. It's not like, we're starting May 1st and ending on such and such a date. So it's open whenever.
Okay. So really driving that personal journey of each individual. Excellent. We have a question around the general outlook for digital marketing. What would you say the digital marketing job market? What would you say is your observation here?
Yeah, that's a really great question. There are, I've talked to a couple businesses today. Someone texted me yesterday and was like, hey, do you know any marketers? Right. And then I talked to a client from the Jetstream side today, and they said, hey, we're looking to hire someone in-house. So through COVID, I think there was a high demand because everyone recognized that, hey, I've got to take my business online. So, digital marketers were certainly in high demand. Right now, I would say there's a shortage of digital marketers. That's just my sense. I would say there's more opportunities than there are people in the field. But it's ever evolving, and there are very different types of marketers. There might be a social media marketer. There might be someone who's more in the analytics. There might be someone who's better at, like search engine optimization, and someone better at email. So generally what I see is, there are a fair amount of opportunities. There is demand for marketers, and certainly in the startup community, they're looking for someone that's young and hungry, not necessarily experienced. So there's opportunity to get in early and scale up.
Because we have just a continuation from that overview. And is there any advice that you would give to people who are just starting out in the field? It's just a note here that there are a lot of opportunities for very junior digital marketing positions there, or there doesn't seem to be for those entry levels.
Yeah, so I would say again, I would come back to the network. Like, I got my first opportunity in digital marketing is a long time ago, so it's a different time, but through just a job posting. But I think every other opportunity that I've had through that was through my network. The people that I met in that job and then connected other, so again, it comes back to building that network. And you're not going to see like the jobs that, like a friend of mine that texted me yesterday, like, do you know a scrappy marketer that can do this? That's not a job description. That's not going to be posted on a job board.
Yeah.
So the more you connect with people around and that they know you're looking and say, hey, I just took this course and I want to get a job. When they have an opportunity, there might be something random or it might be a short-term opportunity. They'll think of you versus having the job description and then you applying to it. That's just what I found. I'm sure everyone's experience is a little bit different, but I would come back to that network. Start connecting, show up at events. I know that can be intimidating, but make connections on LinkedIn, reach out to people. Most people will respond, not everybody. Have Zoom calls, go for coffee with them, ask them to introduce you to a couple other people, and you'll soon find that you're very well plugged in with a little bit of work, or the network kind of pulls you in because it is a unique network, at least here in Victoria.
It's just taking those first small steps.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Okay. There's another question. Thank you so much, everyone. We just keep putting them in.
Great.
Yeah, we have someone who's just reflecting on how you said that young people could get in really quickly. What about those who have 10 years work experience in a different field, but now would like to enter into that digital marketing? Is that also, would you see
Yeah, that's
that
a really good question. And I
shift?
shouldn't necessarily say young people. I should say people that are new to this, because I've been doing it for 20 years, but the stuff I did 20 years ago doesn't really matter. It's only what you've done recently. How up to date are you? If I took 5 years off, I would essentially start at, ground zero if I came back. So anyone that is learning digital marketing can become, like, say you take the digital marketing boot camp, you get a good foundation in digital marketing, you say, I'm going to become a TikTok expert. You can become a TikTok expert in like 6 months to a year. And then you have like a specialized skill. And so there's a huge opportunity for that type of specialized skill, and it's only growing. And so you have the opportunity to become an expert in a very short time, 6 months to like 3 years. Anything beyond sort of 3 years is like, if I talk about, paid advertising, in 2015, like it's different now.
Yeah.
Or, Facebook and Apple had that big change, iOS 14. If you advertise before that versus after, they're almost like two different things. So the fact that it's changing rapidly can be difficult in the role, but it also creates a huge opportunity, and there's stuff popping up all the time. I mean, ChatGPT and the AI platform, if you became an expert at how to utilize that for creating blog and SEO content, that's something that could have a huge market. So hopefully that helps. But yeah, I should have said not young people that are new to the industry.
Yeah, I really like, it's so interesting. I mean, with technology in general, everything's changing so quickly. I was thinking back to what you said about Snapchat, and it's, not very much utilized anymore. And yeah, how things can change.
They
so
change
quick.
very rapidly, and it's based on, algorithms, regulations, privacy. Like it was Apple that really upended Facebook's platform, and that happened, relatively quickly, and it really has changed the game a lot. And there's other things coming in the industry that will continue to change things. So.
Wow. Yeah. We just have a lot of thank yous too, and we just want to say it was a very informative presentation, and it really has opened my eyes, and I really love that there are opportunities here that you're saying with your program that could really get people going in this industry.
Yeah, it's great. Happy to do it.
Thank you so much. And I also just want to say thank you to Alice, who's transcribing for us from Island Deaf and Hard of Hearing. That was wonderful. And yeah, Mike, this was really great. Thank you so much for the information.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you everyone for being here too. And if there's any other questions, you can put it forward, but I think we're right on the dot too with time.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. Any last words you would like to say, Mike?
No, just thank you. I just really appreciate everyone listening today. And if you do want to connect with me on LinkedIn, Mike Williams is a pretty common name, but you can probably find me and you can see that in LinkedIn there. So just if you do connect with me, shoot me a message and say you were at the webinar so I know who you are.
Excellent. All right. Well, I would just like to say, I hope everyone has a great afternoon and thank you again, Mike. And yeah, good luck with everything.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
All
Bye for
right.
now, everyone.
Bye.